Okay, so my first question is, how has the Giro d'Italia been going so far? It's been quite crazy weather conditions, and there's been a few crashes as well in the Giro d'Italia.
Yeah, I mean, relatively speaking, there hasn't been that many crashes yet, touch wood. There's been a few, but if you look at the bigger picture and look at historically, there's always a lot more actually. So, so I think at the moment we're on the safe side. I also know that tomorrow things can go sideways again. It's gonna be tomorrow very 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 risky stage. But yeah, I mean, generally speaking, we've been unlucky with the weather. It's been pretty grim and cold. I think yesterday was most likely one of the kind of first real day without any rain, so it was quite nice actually. Um, and yeah, for so far, I mean, there was a long first week, if I can say. It was a 10-day first week, but that's, I think, some riders prefer that. I think I also prefer that.
Yeah, speaking of stage 11, which of course is tomorrow, it's featured in the Tour de France. Well, it featured in the Giro d'Italia in 2010. Is it something that you feel ready for? And how was it having a 1.6 kilometer gravel section already in the Giro d'Italia?
Well, I mean, for me, the other day, the gravel section did not, like, to my race, it didn't change much. I just had to get up to the finish, and that was it. I think it made a difference with the GC guys, a couple of seconds here and there. I don't think it was quite decisive on the Giro yet. It just showed how strong Bernal was and how handy he is on the gravel. But tomorrow is another day, and tomorrow is going to be much more technical than the other day. The other day they arrived at the bottom of the gravel section with 40 riders. Tomorrow there'll be 180 riders coming into that corner. So tomorrow will be almost like a little Strade Bianche classic more than a stage of a Grand Tour. But it's no different than any other years when you have Paris-Roubaix stages in the Tour or whatever. It's just you just need to adapt and prepare for it. Some riders on recon. It's important to have your team that's also ready in terms of equipment. We are quite lucky. I think our team is very well organized when it comes to the equipment for tomorrow. So I think obviously we're going in there with a lot of fears, but also a lot of hopes.
Yeah, this DSM team that you guys have brought to the Giro d'Italia is very strong and has a lot of Grand Tour experience. How has it been for the team, and what's kind of the targets for the rest of the Giro d'Italia? And where do you kind of slot in as well? I mean, you've been a contender for the top 10. You've been up there in the Vuelta a España taking stage wins. So how has your role kind of differed this year?
Well, this year is completely different, especially that I'm not particularly helping in the high mountains, but doing also quite a lot of work in positioning with Roma, even on the flatter stages. So with Jai and Store, who are climbing really well, we thought that it would be strategically better for me just to really look after Roman and just do this. I spend most of the day in the wind every day, but not just be there on the last bit on the mountains, because Jai is there to do that. Well, especially now that he's dropped out of GC, where before we had both of them in that scenario. But for me, it's really important and really key to be there in those moments to strategically make sure that he is safe, bring him at the bottom of the climbs in a good position. So that's kind of the job that I'm doing at the moment, with really looking after Romain and the teams, giving a hand in the sprints as well, in the final approach. So been pretty busy.
And looking forward to the last, 11 stages of the Giro d'Italia. Is there any stages that you guys have earmarked as being quite decisive? I know the Monte Zoncalon is coming back, and that's a climb you've done. Well, you did the last two editions in 2018 and 2014.
Actually, also did it in 2007. So it would be my fourth time over Monte Zoncalon. Not bad out of 5 Euros, actually. I must be a magnet to Zoncolon. But no, I mean, Zoncolon is definitely going to be one of the key stages where GC battle is going to be key. But I think tomorrow, moreover, is one of the stages where the GC guys are more afraid about tomorrow, I believe, than the Zoncolon.
Do you think the time trial in Milan is going to be decisive as well, being twice the length that it was last year?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, every year, every Giro, every Grand Tour has a different scenario. Last year was a very particular scenario. Doesn't mean that this year they're going to arrive in Milan on the same second. But obviously, the way things are going, it looks like it's pretty close in the GC. I think there's like 15 guys who are still in contention after 10 days, so it's still quite tight. But obviously, a 28K TT can make quite some damage when you see sometimes on some of the mountaintop finishes, there's only gaps of 10, 15 seconds, where on a TT you could easily lose a minute.
And yeah, finally, it's not all about the Giro d'Italia. There's, of course, a lot of people, including myself, who are big fans of you, Nico. What's kind of your target for this Giro d'Italia and the rest of the season as well?
So the big goals at the moment were really to be ready here and support for Romain for his hunt of GC and the Giro. So my goal here is to really make sure Romain is there, and in terms of obviously my good Giro will also depend on how good Romain's Giro is, but here obviously it's always nice if I can get a breakaway and get a result, just because it's actually what I love to do. Is that everyone knows how much I love to hunt the breakaway and try and go for stage. But that will be really coming up to the obviously now when we come into the mountains again and trying to see if I can get an opportunity. Bearing in mind that my main role is still to be kind of the road captain with Nicky and looking after the guys. After the Giro, my program is still not set. There's been talks, but it also depends on quite some things about my selection to the Olympics, not the Olympics. So there's still quite a lot of question marks on what's coming after the Giro. I hope I will know pretty soon, because I like to have a structured program, and there's a lot of question marks at the moment. So I'm kind of looking forward to knowing what's going to be next. But at the moment, after the Giro, I had big hopes for the nationals, who were due to be in middle of June, but have just been postponed now till October. So that's something that unfortunately won't happen in June. So like I said, for now I'm just kind of waiting for after the Giro, and then we'll sort out the second part of the team.
All right, thanks very much for that, Nico, and we really appreciate you doing this interview during the Giro d'Italia, and good luck to you and all your teammates as well.
Brilliant, thank you. Take care.
Bye.